Hey, okay, people, we're back here in the Organized Chaos Carpentry Shop. I'm Sean Stewart, this is Sam. We are working together today on framing a wall, and we're getting down to the basics in the trade. So if this is your first time getting a hammer in your hand, don't worry. This is stuff tradespeople wish they knew before they were getting into the trades. And actually, speaking of which, what's something that you wish you knew before getting into the trades?
Nice. So I'm similar to you in the way we were our upbringing. You know, we definitely started in the trades when we were very young. But if I was talking to students now, I would definitely want to encourage them that like their success in the trades isn't their mentors or their employer's responsibility. They can actually take some of that ownership for it themselves in learning. You know, there's a lot of information out there, whether that's magazines, whether that's online, YouTube. The information's there, and if you actually want to do well in the trade and learn something, I would just encourage you to take some ownership in that, and that'll actually help you do well.
Yeah, okay, so why don't we start with framing a wall?
Let's do it.
We got our sawhorses set up over here. We're getting ready to start cutting, and I'm going to start drawing this out to get my plan going. Okay, so picture this wall with me. So every wall in your house, they have a bottom and a top plate. They go horizontally on your floor and at your ceiling. Actually, there's two top plates typically. And then in between, you have your studs that run vertically in the length of your wall. So the first thing we're gonna need to know is how long your wall is. So in my case, my wall is 8 feet. And actually, my wall height is about 8 feet as well. And so we need to cut our top and bottom plate, mark it out, and cut our studs. Okay, so I've made my cuts, both boards 8 feet long in my case, and I'm going to start by lining up the boards on the end and get my tape measure out and marking both out simultaneously. That way they're the exact same. Starting with, in this case, I'm building a shed. And so I'm gonna have a corner on both ends, and I'll show you how to mark out a corner. I'm framing with 2x6 walls, you're likely framing with 2x4, so it does make a slight difference. I'm gonna start by marking my end board at 1.5 inches on both boards and putting an X right there. That way I know where a board goes. And with a corner, then I'm gonna have a board on its flat. So in this case, a 2x6 is 5.5 inches long. So I'm going to have to go 5.5 inches this way in order to make my second mark. And I gotta learn math, all right? For 7 inches for me. And another X to remind me that's where another board goes. And so now I wanna talk about marking on center. And so we have typically 16-inch on center or 2 foot on center, or sometimes 12-inch on center. In my case, I'm using 16-inch on center. And so on your tape measure, you probably have a red mark where the 16 inches, and if you pull out a little more, you have 32-inch, and then 48-inch, and 64, and it keeps on going. And so use that as your markings. Now, you can't just mark at 16. You have to subtract 3/4 of an inch, and that is because you want the center of your 2x6 or 2x4 to land on that 16 inches, so on center. And then make an X so you remember which side of the line your board goes on. And you keep doing that all the way down until you run out of board. Depending on your board, you might have an odd size to finish out your 16-inch on center. You want to mark every one to help you with insulation, to help you with plywood. This is all building materials are built in order for us to know those 16 or 24-inch on center. And therefore you'll need to mark out every one, and it also provides the right amount of strength. Once I get to the end of mine, I'm gonna flip over because I have another corner on this end, so I'm gonna have to mark the 1.5 inches and the 7 inches again. So I have the top and bottom plate marked out. I'm gonna lay these out on the floor and lay all my studs, my boards that are cut to length in between, and just get everything sitting in place so I can start assembling. Okay, so now we're going to build the corner. And in the case of the corner, you want to put one board on top of the other, flush on the ends, and you're going to nail it together flush on the side. And what's going to happen is you're going to, after it's nailed together, you're going to, well, actually I had it the wrong way. You're going to have it like this, and your board's going to nail in like this. The reason for this is so you have something to nail your drywall to later. Because your Nix wall is going to go right here, and then now you have something for your drywall to hit against. Okay, so we got the bulk of the wall built here. Now we're on to the second top plate, the double top plate. For me, I'm not actually going to install it right now because it doesn't make sense for my project, but for you, you likely want to. And so your double top plate, it depends on what other walls you have connecting into it. So if you have at the corner, like I will later, a wall going here, you're going to want to space out so that your other wall can overlap. What this is doing is creating an overlap of your walls, and so it adds strength into your corner. And so take that into account when cutting your double top plate, and nail it together, and you have yourself a wall. Okay, so that was framing a basic wall. At some point we're gonna get into something a little more complicated, like with a window and a door, maybe even to finish off that shed at some point. But that will get you started. And I was thinking about something Sam said earlier about taking a little bit of ownership on yourself in the learning. And so, not the same idea, but building on that is paying attention. So a pro tip, pay attention. There's a lot of stuff happening around you on the job site, and the guy next to you is doing a job like putting together a corner. And if you're carrying lumber, you can walk by and watch what he's doing as you're carrying that lumber. And so when your boss tells you go nail together a corner, you don't have to ask as many questions. Or if you know what your boss is going to need next, because you've been paying attention, it's gonna look good for you, and you're gonna move up a lot quicker, and you're not gonna be carrying lumber as long. And so that is framing a wall for you today. Sam and I had fun doing that together.
That's good.
If you want to see the tools we use, they're linked below. If this is your first time stopping by, or if you've been around for a while, make sure you like and subscribe to our video, and we'll see you back in the shop soon. Boom! All right, ready?
Yes, yeah.
All right, we're back in the OK shop, and I am fogging up. Okay. And we'll see you back in the shop soon.
Peace.